Welcome back to my channel. Today is December 11th, which means it is Vlogmas Day 11. We have made it to day 11. I know yesterday's vlog was kind of a little bit of a cop-out, but I needed to throw something up because this weekend was quite eventful and I was exhausted. So today is just going to be like a simple video, a little bit of a story time. And I kind of can't give this story time unless I let you get in my business a little bit. So let's get right into it. So I've always been in the beauty industry doing makeup. I've done makeup for years and years and years and years and years now independently. So I always had an interest in beauty, and I knew I'd probably lean somewhere near the beauty industry. I just didn't know to what capacity. I didn't know it was going to become a full-time job, or career, I should say. At this time that I was like considering a career change, or just, there were a lot of changes going on in my life in general, with work, with my marriage, all of those things. So as far as the work side goes, I was in medical research for about 7 to 8 years in different companies. But that last company that I was at, I just saw that being like full on like my career, and probably just moving up in the company at some in some way or another. But I really loved the place that I was working at when I first started there. It was very family oriented. The schedule was flexible, which you need as a mom, just in general, a parent in general. So I enjoyed that. My coworkers were awesome. The environment was great. In my home life, I was contemplating, at this time, I was contemplating on leaving my marriage. And, I was coming from a very abusive marriage in more ways than one. It was just not a healthy situation for me or for my kid. One day, Thanksgiving of 2018 is the day, or yes, Thanksgiving of 2018 is the day I decided to leave my marriage. And I left the home completely. I gathered me and my children's things up. This was a matter of safety and a matter of me keeping my sanity. So I gathered up all my stuff, all my baby stuff, and I went back home to my parents Thanksgiving Day. So that in and of itself was just like a huge life change. And things were just kind of like whirlwind type of thing in my life around 2018, 2019. I was also pregnant. I was 8.5 months pregnant at this time that I left. So I needed to be back home with family. I needed that love and support and all of that. And I got that at home with my parents. So I gave birth to my daughter in January of 2019. And then you guys know shortly thereafter, the pandemic hit. So it was kind of like the perfect time for me to be at home, rather than having gotten a new apartment and be by myself with the kids, dealing with a separation, soon to be a divorce. I was able to have the support of my parents while I was at the end stages of my pregnancy, and then after delivery. And I really appreciate them for their help during that time. So anyway, I knew that at this time I was not working too. So just to make a point of that, I was not working because I was out on short-term disability. And then obviously once I had my baby, I was out on my maternity leave. And I was like, I didn't want to go back to that place, right? So I'm trying to think of different ideas on how I can secure something else outside of that job. But in the meantime, I ended up during the pandemic, I ended up getting a call from Branford Academy, which is the school that I graduated from with my aesthetics license, as well as my lash technician license. So I didn't take a lash course there, and we'll get into that later as to how I acquired my lash license. But yeah, I got a call from them, and they said that they were doing virtual courses, which was perfect because prior to that year before, I was thinking about going back to school for aesthetics, but I wasn't sure how I was going to fit that schedule into my world. And then, like I said, I was having the baby, so I needed to wait for all of that to kind of run its course, and then I could sit down and figure out when I was going to go back to school. So at this point, I've already had my baby. It's a little bit later into the pandemic or being in quarantine, and now I am fully enrolled in school and I am doing online courses. So that was interesting. You can't really, other than theory, you can't really do online courses for aesthetics. Like, this is a very hands-on career, so it was just like I was ready to like get in the classroom and actually get hands-on, because the virtual stuff, it wasn't it. And if I can insert clips of each stage of what I'm discussing, I will, because that would be fun for you guys to see, kind of like my journey. So did that, and September of 2019 is when I guess found a business name, and my parents let me use their basement to practice lashing in. At this time, I had also taken a lash certification course, because in Connecticut around this time they did not require a license, so a certification was all I needed. And so I was like, yeah, I'm ready for business now. I took my certification course, and now I got like a little area in my parents' basement where I can lash out of temporarily. And I did that, and I took a lot of like models with model pricing for lashing, and I'm going to insert a few pictures of what my lashes look like in the beginning, because I've come a long way.
Look how sparse these lashes are. They don't even look like they were filled or done or any of this. This was like one eye without lashes and one eye with. They look the same, girl. And this was in the lash course that I took.
So that was a good experience. It kind of like just got my feet wet into what it was going to look like owning my own business, having my own business. And I had a lot of friends and family coming out to support, and it was a good time. So I'm doing all of this. Come October 2019, I ended up opening a small suite. So I found a small suite. I think the rent at that time was like $300 for that. It was a one-room suite, very simple, had one closet, and that was all I needed at the time. So I didn't, I opened that, and I did makeup there. I did just regular face waxing, no full body waxing, because I had no experience with that. I also wasn't a licensed esthetician at the time, so I was still going through my courses at Branford Academy. Studio was like super cute. I'm going to insert pictures of that too.
So these are pictures of what it looked like when I very first got the keys. We ended up ripping up all the carpet and laying down new floors. And here is what it looks like after we put the floors down. And this is how I had it decorated when I first moved in here. I had since changed it around a couple of times and added a few touches of pink. And yeah, this is what it was looking like when I first opened.
And I started taking on more lash clients. This is what I feel like kind of jump started me, even though there's pros and cons to it. I ended up creating a Groupon for my business. And at this time, my business was called Lux Lash by Candy. Was it that? Yeah, Lux Lash by Candy. And then it ended up changing to what was it after that? I don't know. I'll figure it out. But Lux Lash by Candy was my first name ever. Yeah, so I was doing face waxing, makeup, and lash extensions out of the studio. I opened up the Groupon. And at this time, I was getting a little bit better with my lashing. So I felt confident enough to bring in clients other than like family and friends and acquaintances. So I did the Groupon, and I got a lot of new clients off of that, and clients that I still have to this day from that first initial Groupon, what do they call it? Groupon campaign. One thing you should know about Groupon, though, is that they take 50% of what you earn. So if you put a Groupon out for $50, that client pays the $50. Groupon gets 25 and you get 25. So I wasn't as savvy with the Groupon then, so I didn't like adjust my prices so that I could make more of a profit. But nonetheless, it worked for me. I ended up getting clients. They enjoyed the service, and they also enjoyed the environment and the professionalism. I pride myself on that. So I was just like, oh God, like I could do this. I could do this. It was a little overwhelming at times because at this point, my lash sets, they were taking forever. I was there 3+ hours trying to just get one lash set done. So, and this was not even just for like a mega volume or volume, like just the most basic. It took me forever. So right before I returned to school full time in person, I ended up quitting my 9 to 5. Now, I don't suggest that to everybody, right? But this was like a matter of my mental health, just my level of stability at this time. It just, something wasn't clicking. And I think at this point, I started to realize that I had been moving through life, taking care of everybody else, doing stuff for everybody else, making sure that they were good. And I wasn't making sure that I was good. I wasn't taking care of me. I wasn't doing something that was specifically for me. So this was my time to be able to do that. So I went in there randomly one day and I gave them my notice, and I told them some point in October. I don't remember the exact date that I gave them, but I said October of 2019, let's say the 17th, that's my last day. And that was definitely my last day. It ended up working out for me though, right? Because we were still going through, you know, COVID and all that crap and, you know, stuff like that. We were getting stimulus checks, which I wouldn't mind being cut another check, to be honest. And I was also able to thank God for HR because they were amazing during this process. I was also able to get unemployment. So, and now I'm back home with my parents. So it worked out for me. The circumstances were just, the stars were aligned, however it went. So yeah, so I quit my job. So now I have the small studio space. I am in school for aesthetics. I'm already lash certified. And then I have found out that now you have to be licensed. And so for lash technicians who were already working, I think you had to be working already in the field for, I can't remember how long. But anyway, you can get grandfathered in as long as you showed proof that you were previously working. And I also did my due diligence with just getting additional certifications through like reputable companies, and also like being Barbicide certified and all of those things. And a lot of that stuff also applied once I was in aesthetic school. I was able to get a good background on how to just keep my space clean and sanitized and, you know, all of that good stuff. And then the rest of it, I kind of like, I was self-taught with most of it. And, you know, I took a course on Lashbox LA. And so I was just trying to, make sure that I was like well-versed as a lash artist, and I had the knowledge to back what I was doing and what I was charging people for. So let's like fast forward. I graduate from, while I'm in aesthetic school, my business is starting to grow more, and I'm also like, I was also posting my journey in school on Instagram, and was I posting it on TikTok? I don't think I was. I might have been. Yeah, I might have been posting it on TikTok too. And, you know, so people are excited to get like new services added to Lux Lash by Candy. I might have changed my name at this point, but I don't remember. Because eventually it did change to the Lux Studio. So I do think I changed it at this point. I had 3 name changes. The last one is my current one, Lux Aesthetics LLC, and that's what it's going to stay. But it started as Lux Lash by Candy, and then the Lux Studio. So yeah, so my clients were starting to see like, oh, okay, like she's getting licensed to be an esthetician. She's going to have more services available. I'm getting way better with my lashing. And I decided to open up a bigger, slightly bigger space. It was still one room, but it was a larger room, 2 closets, and I hated it there. I hated it there. I only left from the complex that I was in because they didn't have any more suites that were bigger. Like he books up these spaces very quickly. So like once you see one available, you got to be on it. And I wasn't. And this place looked promising, but everything that the owner of this place promised me did not come to fruition. So I ended up cutting my lease short and coming back to the original place. But at this time I lucked up on a bigger space, which is where I'm in currently. I have 3 rooms, and I only have 1 closet here, but it's a nice big storage closet, big enough for me anyway. So I moved in here and have been here ever since. I really enjoy it here. I don't have to, like, if I call maintenance or the property manager, whatever I ask to get done is going to get done. And eventually I do want like a storefront, but I'm not in such a huge rush for that anymore. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. It'll come when it's time for it to come. I learned my lesson on rushing before with the last space, and that doesn't always pan out to be a good thing. So anyway, so now I am in the slightly larger place. Like I said, I hated it there. I ended up cutting my lease short, but I grew a lot in that space too. I was like retaining my clients. They were booking their appointments back to back. So we're gonna fast forward and to me graduating from aesthetic school. And like I said, now I moved into my larger space, and it's been amazing ever since. Don't get me wrong, I have my ups and downs. I have my slow periods, and then I have my like super busy periods, and I try to be thankful for each step of the way, because this is a journey. It's a process. Being a small business owner is not for the faint of hearts, because you are literally wearing 1,000 hats and everything's all on you. There are things that now that I've grown, like I'll outsource to somebody else if I have it in the budget to do so, because that's not always the case. So if I have it in the budget to do so, I'll try to outsource to somebody else. And I've done that with a few things, but I'm hoping that in the future I'll be able to do that a lot more, because the goal is for me to be a little less hands-on, and we can get into that part of the journey later. Another new thing that I have since acquiring my business is I have a tenant. So in one of the rooms that I have, she has her own little suite in there, and she pays me rent monthly, and that's been working out amazing. So, you know, from starting off in my parents' basement to now having a 3-room suite with a tenant, I think that's growth. And I've added quite a few services on since becoming licensed. I was licensed back in 2019, I believe. 2019 is when I got licensed. I established my business officially in October of 2019. And now we are called Lux Aesthetics LLC, and I hope to only get bigger and bigger. I would love to have employees. I go back and forth with that. So either I'll definitely probably have an employee as far as like secretary type of work, but like lash techs and estheticians that I might have in my suite or in my storefront, once I have that, those will probably be just more private contractors and just tenants. Paying rent, booth rent, or whatever. So now what I'm working on is becoming a licensed PMU artist. So I want to add that on to my services. I have since streamlined my services. I had a ton of services available. Don't do that to yourself, especially if you're like a one-woman show. You're going to feel like you're bounced all around. So get the things that you notice that your clients tend to gravitate towards the most, and the things that you enjoy the most, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's performing the work, and you want to be able to enjoy it. The point of opening a small business is to, well, for me, was to love what I do, was to have a level of flexibility for me and my children, especially now being a single mother. And that was important. Those things were important to me. So I no longer do the services that I don't enjoy. Like, I need to enjoy them. And right now, my favorite things to offer are lashing. Like, that is pretty much the most prominent here. And I love waxing. Love, love, love waxing. So full body waxing, but I love Brazilians especially. I also, last year, I taught at the school that I graduated from. I ended up being the aesthetics instructor. So now I have that, like, you know, to add on to my resume. And I don't know, I think you just need to be like well versed in the career path that you choose, and you never stop learning. You never stop improving yourself. So anytime that I get a chance to better my business or to better my skill, I'm going to take full advantage of that. I also am working on a lash supply brand. So I'm hoping to roll it out by Valentine's Day. We'll see, because that's like it's crunch time for sure. But so I got a lot of things like I'm working on. Like I said, the goal is for me to be a little bit less hands-on. Once I have the storefront with booth rentals and things like that, and doing more of just lashing, waxing, and PMU, I want to be able to eventually say my books are closed. I have my, you know, day one clients who are going to be like my core clients, and I probably won't accept any new clients. And then the rest would just be me working behind the scenes on my lash brand and keeping my storefront doors open, keeping my employees happy and satisfied, and my clients happy and satisfied as well. Hopefully, with this whole timeline, what I want you to take away is to just keep going. Try not to get discouraged. Write your ideas down. Some things keep to yourself, because not everybody is going to be happy for you or rooting for you. So some things keep to yourself until you're ready to like really roll it out. You got to stay the course. You got to hustle it up. When you're a small business owner, you are a hustler, okay? I would, and still do, I'll take flyers, get flyers printed, and I'll go out with my kids and stick them onto people's cars. I'll go to Ulta, I'll leave a few cards around. Like, you are your walking advertisement. Your clients are your walking advertisement. Just stay the course and have fun with it, and remember why you started it, and good luck in your lash or beauty journey. And I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for Vlogmas Day 12.